everybody. Today we're going to talk about some more movable mandolin chords. We know the full 4-string closed mandolin chord that is movable called A. That's 2, 2, 4, 5, and that moves up and down all 4 strings and becomes a new chord on every fret. Now, all of this information is in another video, so make sure you've watched all the other mandolin chord videos. When we move this chord over a string to bringing these fingers from strings 2 and 1 to strings 3 and 2, it becomes another set of chords. So we have those two sets of chords to move around, but we're going to learn a new set today. Basically on this one, the root is always going to be on string 3 and will be usually with your 3rd finger. So what we want to do, if we know the notes on string 3, that string open is a D. And as you go up, 2nd fret is E. And play that E with your 3rd finger for me. Let's just go up and make sure we learn all these notes. 3rd fret is F. 5th fret is G. And then we've got 7th fret A. And 9th fret is B. And 10th fret is C. Now every time we get back to the 12th fret, it's always the same as the open string. So that 12th fret is a D again. So I left out the sharps and flats because those you can, like if you're on the chord F, or the note F in this case, and you want to make it F sharp, you just go up a fret. And if you need it to be, for example, G on the 5th fret, but you need to make it G flat, you just go down a fret. And yes, F sharp and G flat are the same note. That's another video, but make sure you watch my how to identify notes on the mandolin video, and that'll kind of settle in and become a little more clear. For now, let's just practice though, starting on the note F, 3rd fret, 3rd string, with your 3rd finger, and we're not going to change fingers, we're just going to play F on the 3rd fret, and go ahead and call out the name as you practice this to help try to reinforce, that the 3rd fret is called F. Then move to 5th fret, and that's a G. 7th fret is A. 9th fret, B. 10th fret, C. And 12th fret is D again. Now the way we make this chord pattern work out, or this chord shape, we're going to use our 3rd finger to cover the fret on the D string that represents the chord we're trying to play. So in this case, let's start on the 5th fret because that's pretty easy to remember. 5th fret is G on the 3rd string. And what we have to do is we have to let our 3rd finger cover 2 strings. So it's going to play 3rd string 5th fret and 2nd string 5th fret. It should sound like that. And you see I'm picking just the 3rd and the 2nd. And then the quality of the chord is going to be determined by the middle finger or the index finger. So if we put our middle finger on the low string, 4th fret, that's the note B, and in this case it makes the G chord a G major. So that chord shape is 4th fret with your middle finger, and then your 3rd finger holds 5th fret and 5th fret. Now there are people who would use middle finger, ring finger, and little finger instead of the bar. That's fine. Or this. There's also a variation of this where you use your little finger on the high E string, the 1st string. So I'm not going to talk about that now. Let's try to get it with the bar on the 3rd finger, and then we'll go back and talk about what we can do with our little finger later. So again, you put your 3rd finger on the note that represents the chord you're trying to play, in this case 5th fret, and that's the note G. And then you flatten that finger and play both 3rd and 2nd strings, and then you use your middle finger to hold 4th fret on the low string, and that becomes the chord G major. Now to change this to a minor chord, you just don't use your middle finger but use your 1st finger and go lower 1 fret. So now my 1st finger is on fret 3. That's a G minor. So I'll let you hear the difference. These 2 notes don't change. That's 3rd string 5th fret and 2nd string 5th fret. The low string will either be 4th fret with your middle finger, that's a G major, or 3rd fret with your 1st finger, and that's a G minor. Now I'm going to let you hear this in practice. I'll play a little bit of a tune called Daphne, and at one point in this song we actually go from G major to G minor. and you'll hear that little walk down. I'll play it kind of slow so you can hear how this is supposed to go. So in fact, the walk down for Daphne is a D chord, a D7, then a G major and a G minor, then a D, A, and D. And you should recognize all of those chord shapes. I'm going to do that in context now. So here's Daphne up to speed, up to tempo. Walk down extra slow so you can see exactly what's going on. It's a D chord, a D7. Now here's that chord we just learned. It's 4, 5, 5. That's G major. Switch to a G minor, 3, 5, 5. And then a D chord, A, and D. Now you'll rarely use the major and the minor in a single song. It's not very common, but in this case you do. And so you can hear those back to back. So if we were playing a different tune, for example, a song that was in maybe C, and we needed the chords C, F, and G, there's an open C chord here, and there's an open F, and there's an open G. Not a problem. Here, though, if we decide we want to bar these so we can do chop chords, or we can play like in a gypsy jazz style, the C and the F are on the same fret. And then the G is 2 frets higher than the F. And those are the shapes that we already know. And they're not too terribly difficult to do, and there's not a whole lot of movement. But if you have to play, for example, C to an A minor, to a D minor, to a G, that was a long move to go from 5th fret C to 2nd fret A minor, 2nd fret D minor, and then all the way up to 7th fret G. That's a little tricky. So what we can do instead is play the 5th fret C, the 2nd fret A minor, switch to 2nd fret D minor, and then use the chord we just learned for the G, the 4, 5, 5 chord. And then it'll sound like this. So that G is really found right between the D minor on the 2nd fret and the 5th fret C. It's 4, 5, 5, and it just happens to be right there in between, and it's a good way to get from that common change from D minor through G to C. That happens a lot in music. That's actually the 2 chord going to the 5 chord, going back to the tonic, D minor being 2 of C, G being 5 of C, and C being the tonic. So that's pretty common. It'll happen a lot, and so if you know these extra shapes on the lower set of strings, it'll help a lot with especially jazz tunes, and then other folky tunes that have like some kind of different or a little more interesting chord changes than just 1, 4, 5. So especially getting from the 2 back to the tonic through the 5, that's where this is really going to come into play a lot. So hope that helps. I'll show some close-ups of these soon, and we'll see you on another video. Thanks.